Some men can wear a bag on their head and still look good. I'm sure you've heard that being bandied around quite a lot, but how true is it? Let's discuss. Yep, you've heard it before, that there's this special breed of guys who are super cool, super elegant, with the perfect bodies, the perfect skin tones. Whatever they put on is just going to work. This is a cop-out, guys. This is a fallacy. It's a common reason why a lot of guys decide not to express themselves or take any form of risk when it comes to wearing their clothes. In particular, when it comes to the colors that they wear and whether they even involve prints or patterns in the outfits that they wear. The result is they stick to the usual neutrals of black, grey and blue, and they end up being wallpaper. Dressing well is not reserved for the special few. I believe it's a skill. Any guy can learn how to dress well. Now, there is plenty of advice on YouTube and also on my channel on how to put together a wardrobe, how to use or follow trends, what trends to follow. There's plenty of advice on where to shop. There's plenty of reviews on different brands and different retailers that you can buy clothes from. But at the end of the day, on a Friday night or on a Monday morning, you pull clothes out of your closet and you have to decide what's your outfit for that day. It comes down to that. Once you've bought the trend, built the wardrobe, once you've gone to a tailor, you still have to put an outfit together. So I thought, well, it's about time I actually did a video where I guide you through how to put an outfit together. See this as the first part of a crash course, and I'll whittle it down in simple steps that you can implement almost immediately, and see this as a framework that you can rely on a daily basis. And I'm so confident in this that if you follow the framework that I'm going to give you in this video, it's harder to put together a bad outfit. So in this video, I'm going to cover 4 steps on how to use and match colors correctly, and then I'm going to cover 4 steps on matching patterns correctly. So without further ado, let's get on with today's video. The first step is starting with a neutral base. If I was to use a metaphor for putting an outfit together, I would use how you bake a cake. Now, admittedly, I've never actually baked a cake in my life, but having watched, growing up watching my mum bake a cake or just watching your favorite chef make a cake, I've got a fair idea of at least the basic steps that it requires to make a cake. So we're going to follow that and use that as a metaphor as to how to put together an outfit when it comes to color. To make an outfit pop, it's easy to just think, go and get the loudest and most jumpiest pieces of clothing, wear them and your outfit will stand out, it will work. But actually there's a lot more to what makes an outfit stand out than the obvious. Much like a cake, you may just see the icing and the decorations on the top. Underneath all that decoration is a solid foundation that makes the cake actually taste good and not just look good. That's much like an outfit. It's not just about the instant sting that it gives on the viewer's eye. It's also about the nuances and the depth of the outfit and the finer details that makes it really, really interesting. And this is when you move from just being fashionable to being stylish. Neutral colors are the foundation of menswear. No matter which year you're in or which season, you walk into a menswear store, you will always find pieces that are colored in neutrals. So that's black, navy, gray, brown, and the pastel tones that are derivatives of these base colors. The first step when you are putting together an outfit is pick your neutral. So whether that's a pair of pants, whether that's a top, a shirt, a t-shirt, pick your neutral color. The first item that you pull out in that neutral shade is the base of the cake. The next step is keep it in the family. I like the idea of putting colors into families. Now, color theory groups families into seasons. It splits all the shades of colors into seasons based on the temperature of the colors. So winter and summer are a family of colors which are understood to be cold colors, and then spring and autumn are family of colors that are understood to be warmer colors. A key principle in dressing well that I want you to take away today is KISS, KISS. Keep it simple, silly. In other words, you want to stay silly. You don't want to be too clever and overcomplicate your colors. second color that we're going to pair with our outfit needs to sit next to the first neutral. So a good example of this is blue and purple. On the color wheel, these two colors sit next to one another. I like a good analogy. So imagine two people sitting on a bus and they're shouting at each other. And this is what happens when two colors of similar intensity are paired with each other. They're both competing for attention, and competition is the enemy of outfits. Write that down. You don't want nothing in your outfit to be competing with one another. So the key thing is add a second color that is not intense, with a reduced intensity. Blue and purple is good. Navy and purple work well in the winter, but the summer equivalent, where you want to wear brighter colors during warmer weather, you can wear a mid blue and partner that with a lilac. A lilac is a purple with a white tint over it, reducing the intensity of the purple. If you don't want two different colors, you can use the same color and go monochrome, so you can have dark gray trousers with a lighter gray top. There's the base layer, which is the base of our cake, which is the darker gray, and then the second layer on top of the base is still the same color, but we've reduced the intensity. Turning down the intensity is the key principle for the second color we choose for our outfit. The next step is to add a complement. So we've laid the foundation of our cake. We've got a base color, which is a neutral. We've added a second layer, which is another neutral that sits next to it, but at lower intensity. The next step is to add some icing on our cake, or what I'd like to call, give it a complement. Let me explain. What I'm really referring to is we want to add a complementary color. Again, I'm going to refer to the color wheel, but I'm not really a big fan of the color wheel, because at the end of the day, nobody's getting a color wheel out when they're trying to put together an outfit on a Friday night. So let's not lean too much on the color wheel. For illustration purposes, it is going to serve us well. I did an in-depth look into color theory a couple of years ago. I'll pin the video up now, so if you want to go further in depth in understanding color and its theory and how that influences fashion, have a look at that video. It's at this stage where I'd like to use a CMYK color wheel, because this one gives us the different tints. It gives us a color wheel with varying intensities of shades. And this is a more useful color wheel to use for clothing. So we have layered our cake, we've put icing on it. Now it's time to add the cherry on top. I spoke earlier about how trying to make complementary colors sit next to each other at full intensity can have them end up clashing and shouting at each other. If we make one neutral color very dominant, so for example gray, then put a red dot in the middle of the gray, it's a lot easier on the eyes, and there's only one color that's making the big statement, and the other one is actually bringing out the best in the dominant color. The red has its place and its space to breathe, and the gray has its space. It's much like the cherry on top of a Belgian bun, and that's how we should use accessories. We add a small splash of color, which actually brings out the rest of the outfit. So we've discussed matching colors, so now let's talk about matching patterns. Just as intense colors compete for attention, so does patterns of the same size. So the key principle for matching patterns is scale. We want to create the contrast from varying the scale, i.e. the size of the different patterns. A good example is a tie with thick stripes with a shirt with smaller, tighter stripes. Though they're both striped patterns, they actually work together because of the difference in scale, creating enough of a contrast for them not to compete for attention. Remember what I said earlier? Competition is the enemy of outfits. If you've got a bold pair of trousers, for example, that maybe have a sharp pinstripe, you can partner this with a shirt in a complementing color that has large prints. The prints are far enough apart to give each other space to express themselves, and the outfit has balance. So here are some tenets that you can trust in mixing patterns and prints. The first, of course, is scale is king. You can get really funky and crazy once you understand how to vary and play around with the scale of your prints. Uniform patterns work best. So say, for example, you want to wear polka dot. If you have one larger polka dot, you can pair that with a smaller, tighter polka dot, and it makes sense. Stick with the simple color palette. So again, it's that KISS principle. So if you're going with black and white, stick with black and white. If you're going with army green, stick with army green. Finally, let one pattern be the dominant one. If you have one tie that has got the broad, bold stripes on it, let that dominate the outfit. It's like having a band with two lead singers. Eventually, it's going to fall apart. It's a recipe for disaster. So guys, that's a breakdown of how to match colors properly and how to match patterns properly. I'd love to hear what you think. I'd love to hear your feedback, thoughts. Do you disagree with me on some of my points? I'd love to know why. Leave that in the comments. I really had fun making this one, guys. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Once again, thanks so much for supporting the channel. If you're new, like and subscribe and follow. And I'm going to catch you on the next one. Peace.